Hello, my name is Alyse Munro Hindley. I am a student of civil engineering at Camosun College in Victoria, BC, and I will be speaking to you about the safe use of controlled blasting in modern-day construction and mining. With the help of controlled blasting, many amazing projects have been completed safely, quickly, and cost-effectively. Few people realize that every day we encounter many things that explosives made possible. Every time you get into a car, the airbags that are protecting you use propellants. The body of your car was made from metals mined using blasting. The road that you drive on and the surfaces underneath required blasting. Media coverage of blasting tends to focus on the rare accidents and incidents that happen when proper protocols and planning aren't used, or when explosives are used illegally and by uncertified individuals. This negative public perception of blasting consequently imposes further restrictions and increases the cost of controlled blasting. Since the increase to costs in rock excavation, alternatives to blasting have been developed, but no single alternative can be used as economically in a variety of large-scale excavation projects as controlled blasting. Government bodies strictly regulate the sale, use, transport, and disposal of materials used in blasting. Controlled blasting has been used to shape communities, landmarks, and essential roadways throughout the world. A few of these remarkable accomplishments include Mount Rushmore, the Crazy Horse Monument, Ripple Rock, and the continued efforts in protecting our roadways from unpredictable avalanches. Safe use of controlled blasting can be achieved by understanding the risks, ensuring workers have proper training and certification, and using suitable alternatives when warranted. While all alternatives have their niche applications, controlled blasting is still the most versatile and effective method for large-scale hard rock removal. Alternatives include chemical expansive agents, rip and load systems, hydraulic rock splitters, and mechanized hydrofracturing. While blasting has layers of safety regulation and certification, many alternatives require no prior knowledge or training to purchase and use. EcoBust and Dexpan are expanding cements designed to break rock and concrete without explosives. The product is mixed, then poured into a pre-drilled hole, covered and left to expand for 24 to 48 hours. Application is expensive and best suited for small projects. Care must be taken to select the correct product type for the project's temperature range. Too cold, the product won't expand enough. Too warm, the product could blow out the top of the drill hole at a high velocity. Due to the risk of high velocity blowouts, it is recommended that the area be cleared for 7 hours. While a number of safety measures are recommended in the use of expanding cements, ultimately no permits, certification, or training are required. Rock ripping is a method of displacing rock using bulldozers with steel tines attached. Ripping is not suitable for all materials. Some materials cannot be ripped, and others are just too expensive to rip. Ripping is suitable to mining and removing sedimentary rocks such as limestone, sandstone, and shale. However, igneous rocks such as granite and basalt are rarely suitable. In these cases, blasting is usually the quickest and most economical solution. The following video shows a simulation of a rip and load system in action. Hydraulic rock splitters consist of a cylinder containing 2 counter wedges and a center wedge. The cylinder is inserted into a drill hole, and the center wedge is hydraulically pushed between the counter wedges, putting pressure on the rock, causing it to split. They can be used horizontally for tunneling or vertically for open pits or shafts. For high annual volume mines, blasting is still the best method. Here is a video of a hydraulic rock splitter. Mechanized hydrofracturing involves initiating a propellant cartridge causing a pressure wave through water. The pressure wave acts on weaknesses in the rock, further developing cracks in the rock through to the free face. Rapid expansion of gas caused by the propellant cartridge, or an additional booster cartridge, causes significant force to blow the rock apart. This is another alternative that does not require a blasting license, even though propellants are still included under the Explosives Act of Canada. This video, found on YouTube, demonstrates the use of the boulder buster and why rock breaking should be done by certified professionals.
Action. Yeah!
Blasting in British Columbia is regulated by all three levels of government. The municipal government is responsible for developing blasting bylaws and issuing blasting permits. The provincial government, through WorkSafe BC, developed Part 21 of the Occupational Health and Safety Regulations, which details safety guidelines for all aspects of blasting. Blasting certificates are issued provincially. In BC, candidates must complete a verbal and written examination and will only receive full certification upon attaining a grade of at least 80% and demonstrating complete knowledge of each type of initiation system. Certificates are valid for a maximum of 5 years before re-examination is required and can be suspended or cancelled if the board has reason to believe that the safety of any person may be or has been endangered by the blaster. The Federal Government of Canada's Explosive Safety and Security Branch administers the Explosives Act and Regulations, a 510-part act. The Explosives Act requires anyone working with explosives to have a license, certificate, or permit issued by the Minister of Natural Resources. The main exceptions are the use of explosives and some storage activities, which are regulated provincially, as well as the use of some low-hazard explosives, some low-hazard pyrotechnic devices, sporting ammunition, and family fireworks. The Canadian government's Explosive Safety and Security Branch conducts safety-related research on new technology and safety standards to aid in the development of regulations and policies. Not only are all blasting activities governed by these acts and regulations, but blasting companies have their own safety standards and policies which they enforce with their personnel. Canada's economy relies on blasting for construction, mining, and forestry. Explosives have also been used for some incredible construction, destruction, and protection applications. Controlled blasting addresses public need, safety concerns, and cultural expression. There are more than 200 active mines in Canada producing more than 60 minerals and metals. This helps drive our economy through trade, taxes, and royalties. According to the Honourable Greg Rickford, a strong and healthy mining sector has been, and will continue to be, crucial to securing and creating jobs for Canadians and ensuring the growth and long-term prosperity of our communities. BC is a leader in the production of molybdenum, a key component of stainless steel which appears in all aspects of our daily lives for surgical instruments, appliances, vehicles, and so much more. Provincial government bodies such as BC's Environmental Assessment Office review major projects to ensure they meet the goals of environmental, economic, and social sustainability. In response to public outcry and in an effort to improve the safety of BC's public roads and highways, the provincial government has engaged in a number of roadway improvement projects, such as the widening and realignment of Kicking Horse Canyon. The highway is being improved to a modern 4-lane standard with a design speed of 100 kilometers per hour, 60 miles per hour, to move traffic more safely and efficiently. Sharp curves and steep grades are being reduced, and narrow bridges are being replaced to increase capacity, improve traffic operations, and reduce hazards. The first of 4 phases of this project include the removal of 86,000 cubic meters, 3 million cubic feet, of rock. Controlled blasting has played a critical part in improving the safety of this stretch of highway, a vital link to BC's ports and southern routes. The iconic faces of Mount Rushmore were constructed between 1927 and 1941. An incredible 90% of the carving was done using dynamite. Not a single fatality occurred in the 14 years of construction. Drillers were lowered and raised using hand-cranked winches, and call boys were hired to facilitate communication between workers. All workers were cleared from the mountain before every blast. These simple procedures ensured the safety of all workers. The Crazy Horse Monument was started just 7 years after Mount Rushmore. A highly controversial tribute to the Lakota warrior, it has taken 50 years just to complete the 27-meter, 89-foot-tall head. The project is entirely funded by donations and admissions to the memorial. The monument is designed to be 195 meters, 640 feet long, by 172 meters, 565 feet high. Chief Henry Standing Bear requested Korczak Zielkowski create a monument honoring Crazy Horse to rival Mount Rushmore. Computer-generated surveying is used to apply the dimensions of Zielkowski's sculpture to the mountain. Then precision explosives engineering is used to contour the rock. Blasts are announced over a PA system so that visitors to the nearby museum can photograph the blasts from a safe distance. This is yet another feat of controlled blasting that shows that amazing things can be accomplished when blasting is carefully planned and safely executed. Ripple Rock, an underwater mountain in the Juan de Fuca Strait of British Columbia, claimed over 120 ships and 114 lives before 1958. After 2 failed attempts to demolish the rock using drilling barges, the decision was made to tunnel under, and 2 vertical shafts were drilled into the Twin Peaks. A total of 1,275 metric tons, 1,400 short tons, of Nitromex 2H explosives were detonated to blast 1.9 million cubic meters, 67 million cubic feet of rock and water to heights of over 300 meters, 1,000 feet. Rumors spread that the nearby city of Campbell River would be leveled, Japan would suffer a huge tidal wave, and marine life numbering in the millions would be killed. A small tsunami was triggered but caused no damage. The blast was planned for early April, a time when salmon are scarce in the area, so loss of marine life was minimized. The RCMP evacuated everyone within a 5-kilometer, 3-mile radius of the blast site, and ships and planes were diverted. Engineers and CBC camera crews were the closest to the blast in a protected bunker over 700 meters, 2,300 feet away. The project was a success. The dangerous peaks, which had lurked just 3 meters, 9 feet below the surface, were obliterated, and ships can safely pass at slack tide with 14 meters, 45 feet, of clearance below the water's surface. This was the largest non-nuclear blast at the time, and the adverse effects were limited to a small loss of fish life. Underwater blasters now employ bubble curtains to dampen the effects of the blast and protect marine life. In British Columbia, there are 1,390 avalanche paths above provincial highways and 130 avalanche paths in Glacier National Park alone. Avalanche survival rates depend on how quickly a person is found after an avalanche. Therefore, preventing uncontrolled avalanches from affecting drivers is very important. The Ministry of Transportation and Infrastructure and the Department of National Defense both use controlled blasting to keep the roadway safe from natural avalanches. Avalanche zones are monitored daily by cameras and vehicle patrols, and weather stations are used to collect data to assess avalanche hazard levels. If there is risk of an avalanche large enough to injure someone in a passenger vehicle, the road will be closed and explosives are used to trigger a controlled avalanche. Then contractors are brought in to remove avalanche deposits, plow, and sand the highway before it can be reopened. The whole process is usually completed within 2 to 4 hours. Please see the video. Explosives are a necessary tool for efficient development, forestry, mining, and demolition, and therefore vital to Canada's economy. When used safely by professional certified technicians under proper supervision, hard rock excavation can be economically and effectively completed in a much smaller time frame than by alternative methods. In Western Canada, blasting is closely monitored and regulated by all levels of government. Without blasting, we would not have some of the amazing buildings, sculptures, and safe roads that we take for granted every day. In an interview with Andy Wells, a local expert in the drilling and blasting industry, he stated, "Explosives are very safe as long as you treat them as though they are very dangerous."